This is a 2019 Tri-Glide. We're going to do a walk around, point out all the things that I've done to it. So I had a 2011 Tri-Glide set up exactly how I wanted, had a 2014 set up exactly how I wanted, got the 2019 Tri-Glide for product development and to just be able to give reviews on it. So going from the very front, I still have the factory tire on it. It came with LEDs. I did change the lens here. You can see this is a little DK right here that we put on. The next thing coming up front is I did have a recurve LRS windshield on it. It's a recurve. This came off the 14 and it just kicks the wind up. Have the curved radius foot peg with the heel rest gives a lot more foot options when you're riding than just a foot peg. So the heel rest is a lot more comfortable. And this is very adjustable here. The next thing I did was put the floorboard extensions on. It kicks the floorboards out an inch, gets it away from the primary. On the other side, it gets it away from the exhaust, makes it a lot more comfortable. So another thing I did is I put an extended fender guard trim here. This is stainless steel and it's about 2 inches longer than the factory one. And then these are just little emblems that we got from Harley that I think they make for the tank, and we just affixed them to that stainless steel and it just gives a nice look there. There's a cooling deflector wing, and that takes the air that would normally be hitting here, catches it and pushes it down onto the engine, along with the tank lift, front tank lift, and the deluxe option tank lift right under there that gets the tank up off of the engine. A few other things I did right here. This is a oil cooler. On the twin cooled bikes, Harley made a major mistake. The twin cooled bikes have a water pump. The water pump is where the oil cooler is on every other touring bike. There's nowhere on the twin cooled bikes for the oil to dissipate heat, because it's not going to dissipate heat through the fins because there's no oil running through there. And everything else is just big chunks of metal. In the video posted linked below in the description, we did a whole testing on how much hotter the oil runs on a water-cooled, twin-cooled bike than it does on an air-cooled bike, because there's nowhere for the oil to dissipate the heat. So this is an oil cooler for the twin-cooled. It's installed in conjunction with an oil filter relocation. Besides getting the oil filter out in the wind where it can cool off better, it also makes for very, very easy oil changes. And that particular oil filter is a performance oil filter. It's reusable. That one has over 100,000 miles on it because you just take it apart, clean it, put it back together. The other thing we have over here is a Trike mid-step. When the company who makes a Trike mid-step, which is not us, it's a patented design, they wanted to send one. I didn't even want it. They're ugly. They're bad ugly, and especially on the other side where it blocks your exhaust. And I had power duals on there. It blocked the best looking part of the power dual. So I said, well, I would put it on there and test it out. And then I had every intention of taking it back off. But I love it. It makes it so much easier to get on and off the trike. Just like that. And most of the time when I'm getting on the trike and Mary's on the trike, she's already on the trike. So I don't get on and then she gets on first and then I get on. And so if she's on and her foot's right here, I can't use this to get on. I can't use this to get on because my handlebars are in the way. So this makes it just really easy. Some people don't like it. It's really, really good for me. So my handlebars are custom handlebars. They're the factory bars with 9 inches added in right here. So all we did is take the factory bars, cut them, put 9 inches of extra length in here, and that puts the handlebars exactly where it's most comfortable for me. So you can look at the comfort triangle, which is linked below, to see how I determine where the most comfortable position for the handlebars is. I have the ISO grips on here, which is very comfortable. I have a caddy, cruiser caddy on here for my drink. I have the Power Vision over here. We have the fans right here. Switch turns them on. We have the longer shift pegs right here and right here, because I moved my floorboard out, so it not only does it match the ISO grips and these, but I also have it where they're a little bit longer than factory, so that I have no problem with my floorboards out a little bit. Also, this is a longer shift arm than the rear. The rear shift arm stops right before the end of the peg, and so you don't get the full use of the floorboard because of that. Another thing that is still a prototype, it's not a prototype, we actually have it, but I've never put the finished product on here, and that is the FB16, which gives the floorboard a lot of different, passenger floorboard, a lot of different options of where it can be. And so that's got adjusted to where it's most comfortable for Mary. And while we're at it, I ceramic coated the paint on this as soon as I got it. This bike has not been washed in probably 6 or 8 months. And so the ceramic is just really preserves the paint, makes it really easy to clean. Have a sheepskin. This is the same sheepskin we've been running for probably 10 years on different bikes. It's cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Underneath of it, I have a air hawk that just makes it a lot more comfortable. And then I have a backrest that I got off of eBay. This is an old Harley Davidson. Backrest is discontinued. They don't make it anymore, and it's getting pretty worn. We're either going to have to do a little bit of work to it, or I'm going to find another one. And an option is a grasshopper. I have a grasshopper backrest on the Softail that's really comfortable, and I might get one for this. Back here you'll notice it does not have the factory Tour Pack backrest for the passenger. Mary doesn't like that one that goes way up high. It sort of pushes her forward. So she designed her own for the 14. We took it off of the 14 and put it on here. She just likes this low profile one better. Have a Tour Pack rack. We like this particular style of Tour Pack rack because in each of the corners it has a place for a bungee cord. Because when we go on a long trip, we put quite a bit of stuff here and we like to be able to bungee it. And with the hooks, it makes it much easier. Another thing we have on here is this bumper. It's a piece of steel that we actually fabricated this bumper for the 11, and they had it on the 14, and now we have it on the 19. The reason I like it is because it protects the rear fender some. If someone's coming toward this rear fender, they're going to hit here and go off that way rather than you know, the regular bumper that just goes like this. The other thing we have is inside the Tour Pack, which is sort of full right now. See this right here? This is a safety tether. Too many times you hear about this factory tether coming loose, and no, it doesn't happen to a lot of them, but it only has to happen to yours for this lid to come over. It'll crack the Tour Pack. $1,300, not covered under warranty. Okay, so I have a safety tether here. If this fails, this safety tether is going to keep it from going over. The other thing I have is a power port in here. This is just I got it off Amazon or Walmart or somewhere, and it's just a power port right here that I can plug into, and it's just wired in to a power source underneath the Tour Pack. And then down below we have the Tour Pack relocation. That's moved the whole Tour Pack back 3 inches, giving Mary a lot more room, especially on those long days where she's back there for 8-10 hours. That extra 3 inches makes a difference. And then to fill in the gap, have this Tour Pack filler that fills in the gap between the top of the trunk and the bottom of the Tour Pack, and has a run, brake, turn light that emphatically lets people know when we're stopping or turning right or left. Another thing to do with the tour pack is Mary's drink holder right here. Does a good job of making the drink easy for her to access. Over here, oh, one other thing I didn't show on the left side is I removed the left side thigh protector. So we have a right side thigh protector that catches the wind right here. Instead of hitting here and going that way and then hitting the thigh protector on the other side and then just swirling, without the thigh protector on this side, this air gets scooped and then comes out and goes straight out the other way, and it helps keep the engine a little bit cooler. What you cannot see on this bike is I have the convertible comfort lift and the 14-inch Trike series shocks, and that makes all the difference in the ride. You want to be able to ride anywhere. You want to be able to ride 8-10 hours a day and not get bounced all over the place. You got to have a good set of shocks on this straight axle. And so it has the Trike series shocks on it. There's a report down below, link down below, on different kind of shocks that will give different quality of rides on the Tri-Glide. I have the 14-inch Trike series shocks with convertible comfort lift. Up front, I still have the factory suspension. I was going to put the FST. We've done lots of tests on front suspension. I was going to put the FST in there because it's like 70% as good as the AK20s, but at a third the price. But I recently got in some Pro Action front suspension components, and I'm going to test those out and see how I like those. On this side, on many bikes, I can't count how many bikes I've had the Harley digital oil temperature gauge, and I've never had one last any significant period of time. They usually last a year or two. There's a 1-year warranty on them, and then after that it's just tough luck. So instead of getting a digital Harley-Davidson digital temperature gauge for this bike, I got the I think it's a JS Custom temperature gauge, and it's analog, and so it's right here. I have a 7-spoke 606 air cleaner with a premium discrete external breather system. You can see the filter right here, so the hoses run down right here through here, and it's right there. You can't even see it unless I lift that up. Cooling deflector wings again, and everything else is a match of the other side. So even though I've had this bike for a while, and you can see on my 3,000 mile review in the link below, I still haven't done everything I want to do to it. I haven't put my running lights, turn signals on my forks yet. I haven't put my stealth driving lights on yet. I haven't done my mud flaps with the LED run, brake, turn lights on it yet. So there's quite a few things I haven't done. I still have the factory exhaust on it, and I still have the factory tune in it. MH do not run lean like the twin cams. So even though I have a free-flowing air cleaner, I still have a clogged up exhaust, and I just haven't decided what exhaust I'm going to put on it. When I do put the exhaust on it, I then will put a tune on it. But right now, the tune is not too lean at all. The other thing I haven't done yet is put in the plug wires. I have them. They've been sitting on my bench for about 6 months. You need to pull the tank to get to that on this bike to be able to replace them. I still haven't done that yet. And so probably the same time. Oh, another big thing. People ask about removing the cat. Well, the cat is right back here. So with the FB16 on there and the passenger floorboard pushed out and forward a little, Mary doesn't feel the heat for the catalytic converter, so I've not been motivated to change that out. And contrary to a lot of the myths out there, it doesn't increase the back pressure a whole lot, not even a perceptible amount. There's no perceptible change when you remove the cat and how much extra horsepower or torque you get. So, but when I do the exhaust, I'll decide if I'm going to do a different header or not. So I think that is it right now. We'll do an update, walk around on this after I've done a bunch more of the stuff. But that's how we have it now. We've been up to Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, all the Black Hills, Idaho, Yellowstone, all over the place on this bike. And again, look at the 3,000 mile review down in the description below.